it is at this point that I don't think it's really that crazy of an idea that the people at Disney Plus may or may not be in cahoots with the people that own Kleenex. Because when Disney releases these like super tear-jerky movies, it's not like the Kleenex people are making any less money, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to insert whatever crazy, insane conspiracy theories you may have in the comment section below. In the meantime, cue the music. How's it going, everybody? How you doing? How's it going? Welcome back. So there's a new movie on Disney Plus that is simply titled Clouds. And I kind of wish we had some of those here in California, but not yet, I guess. But yeah, if any of you are, maybe going through a rough patch and you're having a hard time talking about your feelings and you have trouble just kind of letting it out, then maybe this is the movie for you, because there's a pretty good chance that it'll make you feel some things. The basic plot of the movie is it's based on a true story, actually, and it centers around this kid who's in high school and he's kind of into music a little bit. And this young man, it appears, has been battling with cancer for some time before the film actually picks up. And then out of nowhere, he finds out that his cancer is much more serious and is unfortunately terminal. And after the kid hears this bad news, he decides to go really, really hard all in when it comes to music. And the movie is basically chronicling his experience with that. And that's the main plot of the movie, but it also focuses a little bit on his best female friend who he sings a lot of the songs with, and then there's his love interest, and then it surrounds his family, and the kid's part of a big family, so it kind of conquers that dynamic a little bit too. And from there, it just seems like one of those movies just hell-bent on trying to make you cry. Because sometimes, quite frankly, you need movies like that. You just do. Now, is this a very, very emotional movie that tries very hard to just slap you right in the feels? Yes, it is. And does it do that successfully? I would say yes. It did that very well, actually. Because some movies, especially ones with dogs, are like really, really, really just blatantly trying to bring the tears out of you. And occasionally that can come off as somewhat insincere, or like they're trying a little bit too hard, or disingenuous, maybe. But I did not feel that with this movie. I thought this was actually a pretty well done movie. It was sappy and a little cheesy here and there, but of course, that's gonna happen when you're telling such a sad story. But to the movie's credit, it did try and spin it into something that could be wholly relatable, even if you haven't experienced all the things that the main character is going through. Which is why I thought the movie gave perfectly ample time to focus on all the other family members and how they're kind of like coping with everything that's going on in this situation. So not only was the movie written well, but the execution was good too, because I didn't find really a whole lot of bad acting in the entire movie at all, really. Sure, there's room for improvement in 99.9% of movies, and this movie falls into that category, but not by a whole lot. I was actually very entertained, and the movie had my attention the whole time. And since this movie is very, very centered around music, I would be the first one to tell you if the music was horrible, and I can tell you with certainty that the music was not horrible. And I'm not talking about just the songs that were kind of performed in within the film, because the background music was also pretty solid. And I really liked who they chose to be the cast, or at least the cast of adults, I should say. The kids I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen them in anything. I don't know if it's pronounced Neve or Nev or Nevi or what, I don't know what it is. Nev Campbell plays the mom, and I thought that she did a really, really solid job. And you have the dude who plays Zach's teacher. I don't remember the dude's name, but he was the best friend in Get Out. You know, the guy who was like, oh man, this bitch is a genius. That guy. He played your kind of like hip teacher that knows what's up and really connects with the kids, but he didn't come off corny or cheesy or anything like that. I thought he did good. But one little thing that absolutely just warmed my heart, because this is a music movie, is they got a guy named Tom Everett Scott to play the dad. And if you don't know anything about him, he played the drummer in a little movie called That Thing You Do. And there is a very, very noticeable moment in this movie that is straight up, I may be reading too much into it, but I'm 99% sure that it's an homage to a scene from That Thing You Do. And that just, that made me feel even more than the rest of the movie did, I think. Maybe, possibly. Maybe that's overstating a bit. But either way, that was a big positive. Really enhanced my experience, but that's just me. And I don't know for sure because I didn't really do any research on it, but at one point the movie does show you some footage, and it appears that this movie was actually really true to life, which is very, very interesting, because I highly recommend this movie if you couldn't already tell. And I thought the movie ended on just a really, really good artistic note. And the last little thing about this movie that I really, really liked was the fact that there is a religious aspect to this movie, but by no means at any point in time did I feel like it was trying to shove it down my throat. Like, this is what happened and this is why. Because the title of the book that this film is based on, there's a heavy religious connotation to that. But this movie was crafty in that it kind of presented the religious aspect to you, but it felt like more of an offering as opposed to a requirement, because it just kind of implies that there's a potential for something expecting, you know, some higher power thing to be involved in there somehow. But in my opinion, there was nothing in this film that felt out of place in that aspect. So it was just kind of like, hey, this might be a possibility of something that may have caused this whole phenomenon to happen. But if you don't believe that particular part, it's okay. It could have just happened, and that's fine. And I respect the fact that this movie did not try and make me think a very particular way in order to enjoy it, because that makes it even more widely accessible, and that just speaks volume as to how good this movie actually is. But at the end of the day, guys, this movie's it's a little cheesy, it's a little sappy, and it's a little, you know, it's a little suggestive as to how you're supposed to feel. But the performances were solid, and the movie came together very well, and I thought it was really good. So I think for a score out of 10, I think I'm gonna give it like an 8.8, maybe 8.9. It may be a little bit of a rough watch if you're not in that good of a mood, but if you're in a happy mood and you want to hear something that's kind of heartfelt, then maybe this is the movie for you. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Have you heard about it? Hop in the comments, let me know what's up. And as always, if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, do all those other YouTube shenanigans, and I will catch you guys next time.